Well, good morning. We have seen and are still witnessing the devastation of Hurricane Helene, and we must ensure that federal resources are there to not only help the people in that area, but also to predict these storms that become more frequent. And we know climate change, warmer oceans, higher air temperatures, higher sea levels, they're causing more intense and destructive storms. I suspect the people of Asheville, North Carolina never thought they'd be hit with a hurricane. Well, climate change is doing that. Agencies like NOAA are the front line. They monitor weather effects, they provide Americans with forecasts, and in the Senate I've worked very hard for NOAA. We passed a bipartisan bill in the Appropriations Committee that includes $1.9 billion for NOAA weather satellites and $102 million above fiscal year 2024 numbers. Inexplicably now, Project 2025, backed by Trump supporters and frankly by Trump himself, would reverse all that progress. Their plan would direct NOAA to limit climate research and forecasting, and privatize the National Weather Service, which provides critical data and alerts to the public. In fact, is the best, I think, National Weather Service in the world. We must protect NOAA's scientific independence, its climate and hurricane research, and ensure it remains freely available to the public. And we must call out the climate deniers who are wrongfully rejecting climate change, refer to it as a hoax, and sell out to big oil. In the deadly aftermath of Hurricane Helene, Donald Trump suggested no one cares about climate change anymore. Just last week he claimed that the climate crisis is, quote, one of the great scams of all time, end quote. Let's be clear. Climate change is real and we need collective action to address it. We need honest, principled leadership. During his presidency, Donald Trump failed in both the preparation and disaster response to hurricanes, storms, and flooding. He often made things worse. For example, he delayed disaster aid for hurricane-devastated Puerto Rico and then showed up later tossing paper towels around. In another incident, he got out his Sharpie and tried to alter the hurricane's trajectory to suggest that the state of Alabama would be hit. When the National Weather Service corrected his claim, he threw a fit. The National Weather Service experts were right. Donald Trump was wrong. The storm never hit Alabama. Later, the Commerce Department's internal watchdog, called Sharpiegate, as it was known, it needlessly risked safety and undermined public trust in weather warnings. That's exactly what Trump and Project 2025 are threatening to do now through these terrible policies. Project 2025 is itself a dire warning about the second Trump term, which I hope does not happen. It would be a disaster for the American people. Today, in the midst of this hurricane, we see the importance of maintaining NOAA. But the Trump program goes way beyond just NOAA. As chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I am terribly concerned because before Trump left office, he instituted what he called Schedule F, which would give him the authority to dismiss thousands of career civil servants in the Department of Defense. Men and women who have dedicated their lives to serving the nation, serving our troops in the field, doing all they can. They would be replaced by political hacks. President Biden withdrew that Schedule F, but Trump has promised, if elected, he'll put Schedule F back in effect. He will weaken our Defense Department because he does not care, frankly. One other thing was so startling last week is that he declared all he needs is 1 day of violence. In his words, you know, if you had 1 day, like one real rough, nasty day, to allow law enforcement to ignore the laws and everything else, we'd be fine. A president takes an oath to uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution. Trump has already said he will ignore the Constitution. He will allow violence. He will go after his enemies. He will make a mockery of the Constitution. So we are here today to point out the dangers of his presidency in climate, but it stretches so far. And with that, I'll take your questions or comments.
Well, former President Trump has disavowed any connection with this 2025 plan. What do you say to that?
Well, President Trump disavows lots of things he's committed to when it's convenient to disavow them. I mean, here's a person who makes things up constantly. Again, I don't think there are anybody eating pets in Ohio. That's what the Republican governor of Ohio says, but Donald Trump insists that's the truth. So this is an individual who, the truth is what he says. I mean, it's almost pathological. The truth is whatever I say. That's not the case.
And this Schedule F that you referred to, was in effect or was...
Trump, before he left the presidency, signed an executive order putting in effect Schedule F, which essentially said I can fire all of these career civil servants and replace them with anybody I like, meaning political operatives. He is now, if he's elected, he's indicated he'll do it again.
And what, has he spelled out a plan to dismantle or get rid of NOAA and the Weather Service?
Well, that's the 2025 plan. He has not spelled out any plan. 2025 was conceived, inspired, and I would expect if you do more research, encouraged by Trump. That's the plan. Trump doesn't plan anything, okay? What he's going to do when he's elected, he says, okay, bring on those guys from 2025. They're going to be my secretary of that. They're going to be a cabinet. They're going to do it in the National Security Council. Okay, guys, do it. You know what I want. That's Donald Trump.
And you feel he wants to get rid of NOAA and the Weather Service?
He wants to privatize the Weather Service so that and he probably, I won't go that far, but he wants to privatize it so some wealthy, perhaps donor, is going to get a huge, huge billion-dollar contract from the federal government and be replace civil servants who do a superb job. I mean, I don't think anyone quarrels with the quality of our forecasts and our weather and those things. It's remarkable, but he wants to get rid of it. Anyone else?
And with the Sharpie, he is a weather expert?
With Sharpie, he was trying to show the hurricane going up, and they had the famous White House meeting with the Sharpie going up there, and the National Weather Service saying that's wrong. That's not right. Why are you telling the American people something that is not correct? Of course, he does that all the time.
Thank you.
All right. You have other questions on other topics?
Yeah, we'll have a quick follow-up and we'll grab you.
Fine. Okay, I'll be underwater.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Good seeing you.